Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Carmen Sandiego. Where in the world is she being animated? She's being animated in the Philippines, and apparently some of the people working on this show are only making $50 a week.
Wow.
$50 a week. So we're going to talk about that in this video. They are ramping up promotion for season 2 of Carmen Sandiego, and it actually does dovetail with everything we've been talking about with Rooster Teeth. With Rooster Teeth's working conditions, as well as the working conditions of Japanese animation studios. Apparently, the entire animation industry is built on cheap labor.
Yeah.
Seemingly.
Yeah. Seems like it to me too. Sounds like our last job.
Oh God. So before we get into the video, please subscribe if you guys have not subscribed already. Trying to get to 100,000 subs by the end of the year. Don't know if it's possible. I think we're at like 62 something. I don't know. I can't tell with YouTube's
Yeah, I think it's like
goofy
62.3. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're more than halfway there. So let's
more than halfway there. So let's try to get there by the end of the year.
Tell their friends. Tell their dog. Just tell everybody.
So this is not really a good look for Netflix right now. They are promoting season 2 of Carmen Sandiego, which actually turned out, I personally think it was better than I expected it to be.
Yeah,
I saw a little bit of it. It wasn't too bad. Our daughter likes it.
Pinky Boo watched it all.
Yeah, and if Pinky Boo likes it, she's got pretty good taste. So
yes,
I think
she does.
It was okay. But they're promoting season 2. As they're promoting season 2, some of the animators working at the studio in the Philippines who've worked on the series are coming out and saying that they're only making like $50 a week US. So this is crazy. This is a tweet from one of, presumably one of the animators, Bubbles.
Well, who sent you this? You said
this was sent by Joshua McKay. Now we try to credit people when we use tweets, and I do apologize sometimes.
Well, at least put it in the description.
Yeah,
so.
We always try to link in the description. My apologies.
Be careful with my hot takes. Don't mind.
My apologies if the tweets got lost in the shuffle. If I did not give you the credit you thought you should get, I do apologize for that. We do get bombarded with tweets and stories every day, and we try to get through as much as we can. But this one, I do believe, came from Joshua McKay, who tweeted me earlier, to Bubbles, who I think works on the show, who linked to another animator who works on the show. So they're confirming this ghetto pay. So this is Top Draw Studio, apparently. Let's go to the original tweet here. This is an animator in the Philippines. Negakitsu, animator in the Philippines for Netflix's Carmen Sandiego, gets fired for asking for better pay. Reminder that animators in the Philippines are badly treated and severely underpaid.
Well, this isn't the first time, not just an animator, but I know of somebody who would only hire like Filipino artists to work on his comics. Because I'm not going to name names, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because he could get them really cheap and exploit it.
Marvel and DC right now are working with a lot of people outside the country because, yeah, you can get Filipino. I mean, there are some Filipino artists who are making bank and they're living like kings, you know, over there. But there are a lot of Filipino artists and Indian artists too, especially colorists, who are being vastly underpaid. But the problem is, because they're willing to work so much cheaper than American artists, these companies are outsourcing more and more of that work to where they can get it the cheapest. And this is apparently, with such a high demand for animated content right now, this is happening in the animation industry. So this is Raf Dia, the season I worked on, coming out in October. Now for some of my own history. I really put up with a lot of crap so I could work on the show. Talking about Carmen Sandiego for Top Draw. Long story short, Top Draw paid me below minimum wage and used an extended training as an excuse to get work out of me.
You know, real quick, this happens all the time. Like, I can't tell you how many times I apply for jobs, and especially jobs like I tried for TSS work and stuff like that before because I have an education background. And they're like, well, there's a bunch of trainings you have to do, but they're unpaid. But you have to go. Like, you have to go to all these trainings. We're not going to pay you for it. And it's like, wait a minute. No. I didn't take that job, by the way. But no, you know, I mean, you hear this a lot in a lot of industries. That's what they're trying to use. They're trying to use interns. And now it's extended training and things like that to not pay people. And I'm sure it's really bad in things like this where they want to not pay people.
Right. And we're going to find out, you know, we're going to talk about Rooster Teeth and how that sort of philosophy is starting to creep into the American studios too, because these companies, frankly, are used to getting art talent for like next to nothing.
Yeah.
But the thing is if people start getting paid fairly, I think that means there's going to be a lot less animation, because I think the entire industry, at least for streaming shows and TV series, seems to be built on cheap labor.
Right.
So this could be bad. Then they fired me with no warning. This is Top Draw for asking for proper compensation, calling it disrupting the positive atmosphere of our company. I was once.
You're harshing my mellow by asking for money. You're fired.
Yeah. Yes. I was once terminated for being too negative because I asked for more money.
Well, no, you asked for me to have money.
I asked for.
And then we got told we were negative because I worked thousands of unpaid hours. You know.
The Mouse's sweatshop. Okay, so mind you, the only person I ever made my grievances known to was a production manager, corporate bootlicker. I never made a scene in spite of all they did because I really wanted to work on this show. I really liked animating it, something I was passionate about, but I couldn't ignore the wrongs they were doing either.
You shouldn't.
So,
you for not.
Yeah, if you are or have worked at Top Draw or care about the animation industry, especially here in the Philippines, please let everyone know of this abhorrent practice so we can hopefully improve things and demand better. They got rid of me easily because I was alone, but as a collective, sounds like a union. Perhaps you could collectively bargain for better. We shouldn't let this slide. Okay, so be sure to share the original post. There's a video. I didn't see the video, but they're talking about the Carmen Sandiego Season 2 trailer. Now, this person seems to be confirming it. This Bubbles.
So don't hire Top Draw, apparently.
Yeah, don't hire Top Draw. Jeez. Top Draw exploited me and my friends. We were too overworked and many overtime, staying past 12 a.m. with no overtime pay. It sounds a lot like Rooster Teeth, doesn't it? But this is, I think Rooster Teeth even paid better. Super below minimum wage, where the Philippine currency is $50 per week pay, even though our department position wasn't for entry level. Yet, so we get paid like entry level. Continue. Got a 2-year binding contract where you can't really cancel, and if they know you're trying to resign, they won't give you your copy of the contracts for legal disputes.
Well, I think that'd be a legal dispute right there.
So I went AWOL since I didn't have any other choice. You won't even get any benefits from 13 months pay, etc. They also make us go during weekends and holidays sometimes. I mean, I really love being an animator and doing animations, but my experience with that studio really made me depressed and burnt out and kind of discouraged me to go back into animation for a while.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, you're not being paid, you're being paid garbage. They're legally doing some questionable things, and then they make you work so many hours that no matter what you love, even if you love something, when you do it so much, you just hate it.
Yeah. Some people are kind of blowing this out of proportion, like not supporting and boycotting Carmen Sandiego.
No, it's not Carmen Sandiego, not the show's fault, but, well...
No.
So who's behind this? Who hired them to do it?
Whoever the production is, it Netflix themselves, or is it whoever's handling the production of the show?
Netflix is kind of their stocks dropped because the CEO confirmed that he thinks Apple and Disney are going to be a threat, and the stock of Netflix dropped today because of it.
Yeah, so they're going to cut every corner they can cut to save money at this point.
Yeah,
and animation, a lot of it's jobbed out. Like even the shows you're watching on Cartoon Network, they're not animated in Glendale or Burbank. They do the storyboards, they send it overseas, usually to Korea, to have it done. But now there are more animation studios in the Philippines, and animation studios in India that are being utilized. And unfortunately, I think we're probably kind of seeing this.
Yeah, so they said, okay, some people are kind of blowing us out of proportion, like not supporting and boycotting Carmen Sandiego. A lot of amazing people working the show. It actually has a really nice concept and style, and I myself quite love the show. And they weren't paid. Well, you should watch it. Watch if you like it. It's also a way to appreciate the animators' hard work, since we mostly aren't credited by name, just the studio's name. Yeah, but here's the thing about this, which I see what they're saying, but the flip side is, if people support this, then they win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because what that does is basically like, oh, okay, we can... And I think that's what happened with Rooster Teeth, because my understanding talking to Rooster Teeth staffers was that Rooster Teeth basically built its business on all of this unpaid labor.
It sounds like it's a common thing.
Right, so they depend on this. And in these studios, overseas, they're probably, competing, bidding against other studios for the production work. So if their prices are raised because they have to pay people more, then...
Well, I'm just saying, I think they're saying don't boycott the show because a lot of people work really hard and you should go watch it, which I completely agree with you on that. But the flip side is, if everybody goes and watches it and does really well, then the takeaway is going to be that we can just continue behaving this way. So, there's like a no-win situation here. Just how about the studio pay more money? How about, they stop expecting people to work... do these sweatshop type jobs, it's not okay.
Yeah, this is now, I don't know where these creators are located. Who is this person? Not sure where they're located, but they said that my classmates and I interned. I always use interns. Interned at a local studio for a year. We were literally paid minimum wage, less than $500 a month. I think it's $500 a month, and worked overtime even on Saturday. When we left, we didn't even get to use the animation we did for our reel, and they didn't even give us a good grade. It's like teenagers at McDonald's make twice that in a day with minimum wage. Yeah, I mean, look, this is why a lot of people aren't going into art now. I'm gonna be honest. And even comics, the pay rates for comics have dropped.
Bad.
And I think a lot of the reason that the pay rates have dropped, the page rates have dropped, is a lot, like I said, a lot of these, Marvel and DC, and I know like Boom, I know some other ones, while they do use American talent, they are North American talent, a lot of them are outsourcing stuff overseas where they can get people cheaper. Mm-hmm. But then if you want to compete here in the States, you have to work for practically nothing.
Yeah, so it's just a bunch of, it's just a big mess. It's a big mess.
And again, this kind of goes along with Rooster Teeth. Rooster Teeth being called out for the same kind of practices, but here in the U.S. Mm-hmm. Maybe not as extreme, but there was a lot of unpaid time. Mm-hmm. And I understand crunch, when it comes to creative projects, and I get it when it comes to video games.
We've done it. We've done the creative projects and things,
right. But, it sounds to me in the situation with Rooster Teeth was that this was the company culture. It was expected you were going to work ridiculous hours and not be paid for half of those hours. So it's starting to creep into the American studios too. We know Japan's really bad.
Yeah, it's really bad over there.
I don't know how it is in Korea.
Gaming's really bad too. It's not just animation.
But they're talking about, the ridiculous, they're talking the average salary working in animation in Japan is like $30,000 a year, and they're working ridiculous hours. Look, if you're 20 to 24 years old, you're only making like $14,000 US a year, and you're probably working.
And Japan's really expensive depending where you're at. It can be very pricey.
So average hours worked, I think this is on the low side, 9.66 hours, 11.03 hours in 2015.
So it's actually come down a little bit.
So you're working, so you're working based on what the studio's saying, what they're saying, publicly, 10 to 12 hours conservatively a day. From age 20 to 24, making $14,000 a year.
Wow. You can do many other things and make more money.
You could literally do anything else. But the thing is that that's kind of like the entire animation industry, the anime industry, the streaming animation industry. It seems to be built on the assumption that the labor is going to be cheap.
Right, and that people will do it though because they want the opportunity to have a chance. And that reminds me of like what's going on with these streaming services, not trying to change the structure for the payments to producers and creators. It's like they're trying to get as much money as they can and keep it all. And cut out the money to the people who create it. And it's the same kind of thing. It's like they're just trying to keep as much as they can for themselves and not pay people that actually did the work. And it's not okay.
And this is becoming more and more common, though. I think as the demand for more content, so many streaming services, they all want to make content. And so what they're doing is, they're hiring cheap showrunners. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are inexperienced, but they'll work for next to nothing. They don't care about long-term royalties. They just want to work on that show.
That's what I'm saying here. They'll just work cheap because they want the opportunity. And that's what they're counting on with these streaming services.
And a lot of these animators, I think they think if they put in their time,
they're going to get a cookie.
They're going to get a cookie. They think that if they... And look,
we learned a long time ago, there is no damn cookie.
Not unless you bake your own cookies.
Bake your own cookies.
Because what's going to happen is you're gonna fritter away the best years of your life, thinking that you're going to get to advance, and in some cases you don't. Especially now
Listen to us. We know what we're talking about. We've been there.
God, especially now with the content itself being so, it's like in high demand, but it's also devalued too. It doesn't mean as much. They don't pay as much for the content because there's so much of it being produced.
Well, here's what gets me. If you went into it knowing that's what they're going to pay you and that's all you're going to get, then you really can't blame it by yourself because you took it, So that if you went into it and they were upfront about what they were going to pay and you took it anyway, then that's really, kind of on you. But if it was, you were told it was going to be one thing and then it was something else, you know what I mean? And then a lot of people are probably like, well, if I want to work in this industry, I have to take this pay. And it's like, then do something else. I'm sorry. Do your own animations on the side and then go do something else.
Well, I think that's what happens with comics. The reason that comics is in the situation it's in right now, one, the comic books aren't selling in the numbers they need to be selling to give everybody a decent living wage.
Well, yeah, that's a big part.
That's a huge part of it. But then what happens is it becomes this self-perpetuating cycle because the people who could make really good money, a lot of them moved over to doing movies or video games or something else. They're not working in the comic book industry. Now, and so then what happens is the quality declines, so people aren't buying as many comics as they used to, and then but then you have to hire cheaper help because you're not making enough money to attract the top talent, and it just becomes this race kind of to the bottom of the barrel. And that's what I think we're going to see with, if Disney goes through with that royalties deal.
Well, there's other places already doing it though.
Yeah,
so
Amazon, Netflix apparently are already doing it. If they go through with that, you're not. What incentive is there for top shelf talent to bring their show to your network if there's no long-term
No,
financial?
you're going to take all the money from all their work. I mean, it used to be a partnership. Now it seems like it's a work for hire.
Yeah.
And but like I said, if you know that's what you're going in and you agreed to it, you really can't complain because you agreed to it. But don't ever go in there thinking, okay, they're offering me something really low now and I'm going to get more later. Because I guarantee you're not. What's going to happen is you're going to bend over backwards and put in extra hours and try to, stand out, trying to hopefully to get noticed and get moved up. And you will not get moved up. And if you do get moved up, you'll get no more money. You have twice the work and it'll be expected.
Yeah, and this has happened on multiple occasions to us.
Right. So I'm telling you.
Yeah, if you want the cookie, you
make your own cookies.
Make your own cookies. But I just wanted to bring up real quick with Rooster Teeth, the difference there was these people were promised. They had a dangling
That's what I'm
carrot.
saying. That's different.
Yeah, they were promised, oh, we'll give you a full-time job. We'll do
right,
just
that's different.
if you can help us out. But I've been down that road before too.
Yes, you have.
I've been called
multiple
in
times
as a freelancer, and if you can just help us out, we'll give you a full-time job. We'll give you benefits.
They brought him in several jobs just to clean up someone's mess.
Yeah.
And then they kicked him out and brought somebody else that was their friend in.
Usually cheaper.
Yeah. Not always cheaper, but it's usually someone's friend.
Yeah.
And they knew they couldn't handle the mess. They brought Neon in to clean up the damn mess and go through all the headaches and all the crap. And then after it was cleaned up, then they'd be like, oh, my friend's coming. We don't need a full-time position. Like a month later, hire their friend for the same job. It happened like at least 3 times I can think of. Yeah,
that always happens. So yeah, just be aware. Like if you're not getting what you are asking for, now I get you have to work your way up, but I'm like, if you're working there for a while and it's clear that you're not going to advance, then you might want to find something else. And I know a lot of people are like, well, all I want to do is make art. I just want to make comics or animation or whatever, and this is my dream. I'm like, can't you do it on your own time, on your own terms, and not have to deal with the heartbreak of like?
Well, sometimes they can't, but I'm just saying, it's just I guess my thing I'm saying to you is if you go into a job and it's a job that they're telling you it's going to be this much pay and whatever, understand that short of leaving and going to another job, you probably won't get more.
Yeah.
And no matter how much, even if you give 300%, it will not matter to them. It'll just be expected that you give 300% for that amount of money. And I think that's what happened, what started all this, and then it perpetuated, and now it's just where it is.
Yeah, and it's become the norm, and the only way it's going to change is if people are like, yeah, we're not doing this.
And if you can make more money doing something else, do the other thing. Because I guarantee you're not going to be as depressed. I mean, you might be sad because you're not doing your own art or whatever, but you do that on the side. You're probably going to have more time to do your own things. You're probably not going to be exhausted beyond belief, and you'll have more money. So you might as well go do the thing that pays better, that might not be your passion, and then do your passion on the side. Because you shouldn't have to live like, this just because it's something you love. Do what you love, but then go find a job that pays you, that's more fair.
Yeah, because people always say that money can't buy happiness. I'm going to say that's bullshit. You know what buys happiness? Knowing you have a roof over your head, knowing your bills are paid, knowing you're going to have food to eat, knowing that your job has some stability to it. That buys happiness. So, be happy and you'll probably make better art.
That's true. So I'm just saying, and this is from somebody who used to work a full-time job, and then he'd come home, work till like midnight and 1 in the morning.
Usually 2.
To do like stuff for comic books or our own comic books or whatever. So, and I work and help too. So, I mean, we're not just talking on our butt here. We're talking from experience. Because if we did comics full-time, you weren't going to get paid shit.
That is true. So we're going to wrap this one up. We're going to watch this because I think it's going to come out more and more, especially with these streaming services competing for content, but not having the funds to be able to really, throw some money at it, that we're going to see a lot of studios come out and be like, we're not getting paid anything.
That's also why you're seeing the cheapening of animation.
Yeah.
I mean,
it goes
hand
in hand. It goes hand in hand.
It's connected.
So we're going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants here on Clownfish TV. This has been Neon and Geeky.
Bye.
Goodbye. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.